Hello everyone, and welcome to the John and Sarah podcast. Today, we are so happy to be with you because we are going to talk about one of the most important and useful topics for English learners, daily routine in English. Why is this topic important? Because every single person in the world has a daily routine. We all wake up, eat, go to school or work, meet people, do activities, and then go to bed. These are simple, common actions that we repeat almost every day. And the good news is, learning how to describe your daily routine in English is not difficult. With the right words, the right phrases, and some practice, you will be able to talk about your life clearly and with confidence. When you are learning English, you need vocabulary that you can use immediately. Talking about your daily routine is a perfect way to start. Imagine you meet someone new and they ask, "What do you usually do every day?" Or, "Can you describe your typical day?" If you know how to answer, you can share your life, connect with people, and practice English at the same time. It is also very common in job interviews, classrooms, or casual conversations with friends. In today's episode, we are going to explore daily routines step by step. We will help you learn useful words, complete sentences, and natural expressions. But more than that, we will practice together in a podcast style. Sarah and I will show you how to use this vocabulary in real conversations. By the end of this episode, you will not only understand the words, but you will also feel ready to use them in your own daily life. Now, why do learners sometimes feel nervous when speaking about daily routines? The problem is usually that they know the verbs, but they don't know how to put them together in a natural way. For example, you may know the verb wake up, but how do you connect it to the next action? Do you say, "I wake up, I brush my teeth, I eat breakfast, I go to school, I study, I go home, I watch TV, I sleep"? Yes, this is correct, but it sounds like a list. We will help you make your sentences more fluent. Like, "I usually wake up at 7 o'clock. Then I brush my teeth and take a shower before having breakfast. After that, I go to work." This is a natural flow. We will also practice using time expressions. These are very important when talking about daily routine. In the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, at night, before, after, usually, always, sometimes. Adding these words makes your speaking more complete and interesting. Instead of only saying, "I watch TV," you can say, "I usually watch TV in the evening after dinner." Do you feel the difference? It sounds more alive and clear. In our podcast today, we will divide the topic into 3 big parts. In the first part, we will talk about the morning routine. This is what happens from the moment you wake up until you start work or school. In the second part, we will explore the afternoon routine. This usually includes working, studying, eating lunch, and other activities. And in the third part, we will describe the evening routine, which is what you do after work or school, including dinner, hobbies, relaxation, and going to bed. While we go through each part, we will give you vocabulary, examples, and short conversations between Sarah and me. This way, you will hear how English is used in real life. We will also encourage you to repeat after us, so you can practice speaking while listening. Remember, learning English is not only about memorizing words, it is about using them. So, during this podcast, try to imagine your own daily routine. Compare it with what we say. Repeat the sentences aloud. If you do this, you will learn faster and more naturally. So, are you ready? Let's start this journey into English daily routines. By the end of today's podcast, you will be able to describe your typical day confidently, from morning to evening, using natural English expressions. Let's begin with the first part, the morning routine. The first part of a daily routine is, of course, the morning routine. This is the time of the day when you wake up, prepare yourself, and get ready for work, school, or your personal activities. Talking about the morning routine in English is very important because it includes some of the most common verbs and expressions that you will use again and again. Let's explore step by step, and then we will give you examples in complete sentences and natural conversations. Most people begin their day with the action wake up. In English, we say, I wake up at 6:30 in the morning. But waking up is not the same as getting out of bed. Sometimes you wake up, but you stay in bed for a few minutes. So the next verb is get up. For example, I usually get up at 7 o'clock. After getting up, many people stretch, make the bed, and go to the bathroom. These are small but useful expressions. In the bathroom, we have important actions like brush my teeth, wash my face, take a shower, and brush or comb my hair. You can say, I brush my teeth and then I take a shower. Or, after I wash my face, I comb my hair. These sentences are simple, but they describe real life clearly. After the bathroom, most people have breakfast. Breakfast is the first meal of the day. And in English, you can talk about what you usually eat or drink. For example, I usually have bread and coffee for breakfast. Or sometimes I eat cereal with milk. You can also use verbs like make breakfast and eat breakfast. A natural sentence could be, I make breakfast for my family every morning. When talking about your morning routine, it is also useful to use time expressions. Instead of only saying, I have breakfast, you can say, I have breakfast at 7:30 in the morning before I go to work. Or, I usually take a shower in the morning after I get up. These little connectors, like before, after, and then, make your English sound much more natural and fluent. Now, let's listen to a short example conversation between Sarah and John. Sarah, what time do you usually wake up in the morning? John, I usually wake up around 6:30, but I don't get up immediately. Sarah, me too. I stay in bed for about 10 minutes before I get up. John, after that, I brush my teeth and take a quick shower. What about you? Sarah, I brush my teeth, wash my face, and then I make breakfast. I always drink tea in the morning. John, oh, I prefer coffee. After breakfast, I usually check my emails before leaving for work. This kind of short dialogue shows how natural and simple it is to describe the morning routine. Another important point is to use adverbs of frequency like always, usually, sometimes, often, never. These words help you explain how often you do something. For example, I always brush my teeth in the morning. I usually take a shower in the morning, but sometimes I take a shower in the evening. I never skip breakfast. These sentences make your daily routine more specific and real. Finally, after breakfast, many people get dressed, prepare their bag, and leave the house. You can say, I get dressed quickly and then I leave home at 8 o'clock. Or, before leaving for school, I pack my bag and check my homework. To summarize, the morning routine in English usually includes these steps. Wake up, get up, make the bed, go to the bathroom, brush your teeth, take a shower, get dressed, have breakfast, and leave for work or school. Of course, everyone's morning is a little different, but these are the most common actions you can describe in English. As you practice, try to connect your actions with words like before, after, then, first, next, finally. This will help you tell a story about your morning instead of just listing verbs. For example, first, I wake up at 6:30. Then, I get up and take a shower. After that, I have breakfast with my family. Finally, I leave for work at 8 o'clock. Now that we have explored the morning routine, in the next part we will move to the second big part of the day, the afternoon routine, when you are at school, at work, or doing your daily activities. After the morning routine, the day continues with the afternoon routine. This is the time when most people are at work, at school, or busy with different activities. Talking about the afternoon in English is very useful because it includes verbs and expressions about studying, working, eating lunch, and doing different tasks. Let's go step by step and practice how to describe this part of the day in simple but natural English. For many people, the afternoon begins around 12:00 or 1:00 p.m. The first important activity is usually having lunch. Lunch is the second meal of the day, and in English you can say, I usually have lunch at 12:30, or we sometimes eat lunch at a restaurant. It's common to use the verb have lunch instead of eat lunch. For example, I have lunch with my colleagues at work, or I usually have lunch with my friends at school. After lunch, most people go back to their main activity. If you are a student, you can say, I study in the afternoon, or I have classes from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. If you are working, you might say, I usually work on my computer in the afternoon, or I have meetings after lunch. Using the correct verbs helps make your description more interesting. Study, read, write, work, attend meetings, make phone calls, answer emails. Let's look at a short conversation between John and Sarah to see how we can use these expressions. What do you usually do after lunch? John: I usually go back to work. I check my emails and answer some phone calls. Sarah: do you have meetings in the afternoon? John: yes, I often have meetings with my team. What about you? Sarah: well, I study in the afternoon. I usually have English class and sometimes I go to the library to read. Notice how simple and clear these sentences are. By using verbs like check, answer, read, and study, you can describe your afternoon routine in a natural way. During the afternoon, it is also common to talk about breaks. For example, I usually take a short break in the afternoon, or I sometimes drink coffee at 3 p.m. when I feel tired. Small details like this make your daily routine more realistic. Another important activity is transportation. Many people travel in the afternoon to go back home from work or school. You can use expressions like, I take the bus home, or I usually drive my car after work. If you walk, you can say, I walk home after school. Don't forget the adverbs of frequency: always, usually, sometimes, often, never. They help describe how often you do these activities. For example, I always have lunch at 1 p.m. I usually study in the afternoon. I sometimes meet friends after school. I never sleep in the afternoon. These words make your sentences more accurate and natural. Here is another short example. In the afternoon, I usually have lunch at 12:30. After lunch, I go back to work. I answer emails, write reports, and sometimes attend meetings. Around 4 p.m., I take a short break and drink coffee. Finally, I finish work at 5 p.m. and prepare to go home. You see how easy it is to connect the sentences using after, then, around, finally. These connectors make your routine sound like a story, not just a list. To summarize, the afternoon routine in English often includes having lunch, studying or working, taking breaks, and finishing school or work before going home. Everyone's afternoon is different, but these are the most common activities you can describe in English. In the next part of our podcast, we will move to the last and very important part of the day, the evening routine, when you relax, eat dinner, spend time with family, and prepare to go to bed. The final part of a daily routine is the evening routine. This is the time of the day after work or school, usually starting around 6:00 p.m. and ending when you go to bed. Talking about the evening routine in English is very useful because it includes common activities like eating dinner, relaxing, doing hobbies, spending time with family, and preparing to sleep. Let's explore step by step. For most people, the evening begins when they arrive home. In English, you can say, I get home at 6:30 in the evening. Or, I usually arrive home from work around 7 o'clock. After arriving home, many people like to rest or relax for a few minutes. You can say, I usually relax on the sofa when I get home, or I take a short rest before cooking dinner. One of the main evening activities is having dinner. Dinner is the last meal of the day. You can say, I usually have dinner at 7:30 in the evening. Or, sometimes I eat dinner with my family in the dining room. Again, we use the verb have dinner more often than eat dinner. Example, I always have dinner with my children. After dinner, the evening can include many different activities. Some people like to watch TV, listen to music, or read a book. Others spend time on their hobbies like cooking, painting, or playing sports. For example, I often watch TV in the evening after dinner, or I sometimes read a book before going to bed. Let's listen to a short conversation between Sarah and John about their evening routines. John, what do you usually do in the evening after work? Sarah, well, I get home around 6:30 and then I cook dinner. After dinner, I usually watch TV or listen to music. John, that sounds nice. I usually arrive home around 7 o'clock. I have dinner with my family and then I help my children with their homework. Sarah, oh, that's great. Do you also read in the evening? John, yes, sometimes I read a book before bed, but usually I watch a short movie. Notice how they use natural verbs like cook, watch, listen, help, read. These are very useful when describing the evening. Another important part of the evening routine is spending time with family or friends. For example, I usually talk with my family after dinner, or sometimes I go out with friends in the evening. Social activities are very common, so this vocabulary is important. After relaxing or doing activities, most people prepare to go to bed. This routine usually includes actions like take a shower, brush your teeth, put on pajamas, and go to sleep. Example, I usually brush my teeth and wash my face before going to bed, or I always check my phone before I sleep. To make your sentences more natural, use time expressions like in the evening, after dinner, before bed, usually, sometimes, often, finally. For example, in the evening, I usually have dinner with my family. After dinner, I watch TV or listen to music. Before bed, I brush my teeth and read a book. Finally, I go to sleep at around 11 o'clock. Here are some other useful expressions for the evening routine. I spend time with my family in the evening. I sometimes go shopping after work. I usually go for a walk after dinner. I prepare my things for the next day before going to bed. To summarize, the evening routine in English often includes coming home, having dinner, relaxing, spending time with family or friends, and preparing to go to sleep. By connecting your actions with small words like then, after that, before, finally, you can describe your evening in a smooth and natural way. Now that we have talked about the morning, afternoon, and evening routines, you are ready to describe your full daily routine in English. In the conclusion, we will summarize everything and show you how to put all parts together into one complete description of your day. We have now reached the end of our episode on daily routine in English. Let's take a moment to review everything we learned today and understand why this topic is so important for your English journey. We started with the morning routine, the first and most essential part of the day. You learned how to describe simple but common actions like wake up, get up, brush your teeth, take a shower, get dressed, have breakfast, and leave for work or school. We practiced how to connect these actions with time expressions and small connectors like first, then, after that, finally. This makes your sentences sound smooth and natural, not just like a list of verbs. Then, we moved to the afternoon routine. Here, we explored vocabulary connected to studying and working. You practiced phrases like have lunch, study, work, check emails, attend meetings, take a break, finish school, finish work, and go home. We also looked at how you can describe transportation, like take the bus, drive a car, or walk home. Again, we used adverbs of frequency like always, usually, sometimes, never to make your sentences more accurate. Finally, we talked about the evening routine. In this part, you learned expressions like get home, relax, have dinner, watch TV, listen to music, read a book, spend time with family, go shopping, go for a walk, brush your teeth, go to bed, and sleep. We also showed you how to make your English more alive with phrases like before bed, after dinner, in the evening, and finally. If you think carefully, you now have the vocabulary and expressions to describe your entire day in English, from the moment you wake up in the morning to the time you go to sleep at night. This is an incredible step forward because talking about your daily routine is one of the most practical ways to practice English. You can use this topic in class with friends, in conversations with English speakers, and even in job interviews when they ask you to describe a typical day. But here is the most important advice. Don't just listen, practice. The best way to improve your English is to use these words and phrases in your real life. After this podcast, take a notebook and write down your own daily routine in English. Start with short, simple sentences like, I wake up at 7 o'clock. I brush my teeth and take a shower. I usually have lunch at 1 p.m. I watch TV in the evening before bed. Then, little by little, make your sentences longer and more natural. I usually wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning. Then I brush my teeth and take a shower before having breakfast. After breakfast, I go to work. By doing this exercise every day, your English will become stronger, more fluent, and more natural. Now, let's make this interactive. After listening to this episode, we want you to share your own daily routine in the comments section. Write at least 3 or 4 sentences about your morning, afternoon, or evening. Don't worry if it's not perfect. Practice is the key. Also, try to practice speaking. Say your daily routine aloud, just like you heard Sarah and me do in this podcast. Speaking out loud helps your brain remember faster. You can even record yourself on your phone and listen again to check your pronunciation. Before we finish, here is your challenge for today. Challenge. Describe your full daily routine in 5 to 6 sentences in English. Use at least 3 time expressions like in the morning, after lunch, before bed, usually, sometimes, finally. Post your sentences in the comments, and we will be happy to see your progress. Thank you so much for joining us in this episode of the John and Sarah podcast. We hope you enjoyed learning about daily routines and that you feel more confident to describe your own day in English. Remember, learning English is a journey, and every small step counts. If you liked this podcast, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up, and share this video with your friends who also want to learn English. Every day, we will bring you new lessons, new conversations, and new topics to help you grow and improve. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you never miss our daily episodes. Tomorrow, we will come back with another exciting topic that will help you practice English in real situations. So keep practicing, keep smiling, and keep learning. This is John and Sarah, wishing you a wonderful day and reminding you your English journey starts with small daily steps.